Hello, Sensei KP here. I just had a few minutes. I thought I would stop in and give an update, share some of the thoughts that I had out here on this. It's been an interesting week. I first thought I would talk about the limiting beliefs. It was requested by somebody. And as I started digging in and looking at what I would say, it's funny because all of a sudden everybody is talking about this. One of the meetings I went to covered this. I've seen posts about this on Facebook, and it must be a really hot topic and something that people have questions about. So I've already talked a little bit before in other areas about how limiting beliefs really, the way I kind of view them is they are things that we pick up throughout our lives. Oftentimes, we pick up things by well-meaning people trying to help guide, direct us, protect us, whatever. Or we pick them up because certain experiences happen and we interpret them the incorrect way. I remember somebody I was coaching a few years back that he had picked up a limiting belief. He was beating himself up over something he did as a child, that his if I remember right, his dog got away and he thought that he had left the gate open, and so the dog got away and I think disappeared. They never found him again, and he took that in that it was his problem, and he had made a judgment and a belief about himself. But it turns out, as he went back and worked on this in his mind and reworked through it and looked at it, he had learned at another time that he's not the one that had left the gate open, even though he thought he was. And he picked up this belief at the time that it happened, even though there was later information that countered that. And so he was able to go back eventually and reconcile that in his brain. And he was really, I didn't realize how like profound this was in his life, but it had really affected him in the way that he thought. And so it was cool that he was able to get a new perspective and change that old belief. And that's how a lot of these things are. I still remember several times my dad screaming at me because I was a fat kid when I was in high school, and we were at a scout camp rock climbing one time, and I was really struggling because I was overweight, I was weak, and I had a fear of heights at the time. I was really scared to climb up this thing, and I still can remember my dad yelling at me that I couldn't do a pull-up to save my life, and he was trying to motivate me in the best way that he knew how. He was a farmer and the military. I mean, you gotta give the guy a break. He was doing the best he could, but that had an effect on me. It held me back for quite a while. And another place that we really pick up these limiting beliefs is through tradition. Through living here in the States, we have certain things that we were taught growing up that color the way we view things. And I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I grew up in that church, and there are certain things that people taught as I was growing up that really, really affect that too. And it's a matter of, throughout our life, anytime we find something that we question, we have to take a moment to look back at it, and you really question what was going on at the time, who taught you something and why, and if it was correct. I've been taught so many things in the context of church that aren't, I mean, some of them flat out incorrect. There were people that misunderstood stuff. There was also a lot of things that people trying to help us out. I grew up in the 80s. Well, I was a teenager in the 80s, I guess I should say. And the satanic panic, if you know anything about that, you can go look it up to find out that, people were, this is satanic, that's satanic, Dungeons and Dragons is satanic, you've got to stay away from that, these rock groups are satanic. And it became this huge push. I remember when I was in a religious class in high school, seminary, I can still remember the teacher coming out and doing a whole lesson on these rock bands and how evil they were because of their ties to Satan. And boy, going back and looking at the misinformation that was given in that, most everything that was taught in that has been debunked as either flat out hoax, or it was misinterpreted or stuff. And even some of the stuff that he was teaching, that they taught, was technologically impossible, that they were saying and pulling all this stuff. And I'm like, holy cow, guys, I get why you're doing it. You're trying to protect and help us, but I'm one that I find so much more freedom in having truth told to me and being able to go back and make decisions because of that. So I can go back and look at these bands and say, okay, are they satanic? No. There's a lot of showmanship. There's a lot of whatever that is doing that. Dungeons and Dragons, is it satanic? No. And, you know, I grew, well, later on after that, I played. I was a fan of that. I am a nerd. I've played a few times recently, and I am a nerd. I like it. I am totally fine with it. And it's just realizing that this stuff that they've taught, even some of the things that I've learned in church, in seminary, that people have put the wrong concept in, or taught an analogy that was really kind of incorrect, happens all the time. And so you have to step back and question that. Some people will step back and question the entire belief system of their church and turn away from it. I will say for me, excuse me, sorry, as I have questioned and dug more into my religion and questioned some of the things I was taught, I actually got clarification and found out what was really taught and really what, you know, the doctrine was, and it has strengthened my belief overall. Even when I hear people talk about things that are incorrect, I can just kind of, okay, whatever, I know what this is. And so questioning has really strengthened me in a spiritual stance. Learning about other religions, learning about other philosophies has also strengthened my belief in my church and my religion, because I've taken the time to go back and question and look at what everything is and find a new perspective. And I could take that new perspective, and even though I believe in the doctrine, it was taught to me slightly different, I can look at that with a new perspective and realize, oh, I get it now, and that's why I like this, and that's why it resonates with me. And I can take some of those other things that were holding me back or making me feel bad. In church, we have a huge tendency to try to either shame people or use a fear-based approach in how to get people to move forward. And I have been able to just completely let go and deny all of that stuff and move more towards, I'm moving towards something and wanting something, trying to better myself as opposed to not get in trouble or not have a punishment or whatever. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit rambly here, but really what it is if you have traditions, step back and look at them. The same thing goes with our country. We have, I think, an amazing country, and we have a very dark past in the country. We were founded on some principles that were absolutely phenomenal, that have not always been equally applied to everybody, even though that's kind of what we stated. And we have done a lot of horrific things as a nation throughout time. But what I like is, in in elementary school, high school, and all these stuff, when I was younger, they would kind of brush past those things and just teach you the good. They would cover just the good and heroic, the stellar things, and not cover the darkness. And what I appreciated is, as I had grown up and started learning about those dark those dark things that we had done, and how we treated certain groups, it actually gave me a little bit more confidence overall in the country, because it's not that we had this country that was perfect from day one and absolutely phenomenal. It's been a growth process, and I do believe that over time we work to correct these issues. We work to become better, and so it strengthened my resolve in my country. That's one of the things I like about it, is that we are different people, and I've learned from all these different perspectives that there's value in different people and different opinions, and as they come together, it creates a stronger nation, a stronger union. Same thing happens within ourselves as we learn more and more perspectives than what we grew up with and what we believe about ourselves. It allows us to choose what is the powerful stuff, what resonates with us, and what helps us to move forward to become the best that we can be, if that makes sense. So it's just kind of a short little thought that I had about this and where traditions come from. Now, how do you change these things? A lot of it is questioning, going back. Sometimes you have to go through, if they're deep enough, like the guy I had with the client I had with the dog. There's visualizations that you can go through and think back. And there's all these different tools that I've learned throughout my life on how to step back, identify these, and then go back and look at them from other perspectives. And so you just need to find the tools that resonate with you, that help you. I have many of those. If you would like to talk to me, you can reach out to me. I am Sensei KP. You can reach me on socials. You can email me at thesenseikp@gmail.com. Or you can just give me a phone call. I believe it is out on the socials. I do have coming, hopefully soon, a website with a whole training program and all that there. Until then, I just do one-to-one coaching, at least for the short term. So look forward to talking with you. And I want you to know, I've heard all of this, been thinking of how to end the taglines and all this stuff, but as you finish videos or whatever, and I saw this one that was talking about AI. It threw out ideas on how I can end things, and it was talking about how fighting dragons. And I do want to point out that I know people think we're going out and fighting dragons every day. That's not what I believe. I believe that you are the dragon, and that's what I help. I help you to become that dragon, the one out there fighting for yourself, defending others. But ultimately, how I'm going to end my messages is with my personal I am statement. Because this is something that just means a lot to me, and I figure as much as I can say it, it helps drive it into me. I am Sensei KP.